Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I apologize for ghosting for a month. I don't even have a good excuse. I just got lazy, and it's funny because this is just kind of like an updatey chatty video, but I actually am in theory getting a second job. It was offered to me, but I haven't signed any papers or anything yet, and it's supposed to start in April this month. So if I had been smart, I would have been uploading, or at least shooting, lots of extra content in March to like have a safety net in April. I didn't do that. I have nothing. This is it. So I don't even have a fun excuse for you as to why I didn't upload anything since February. I'm just lazy. That's it. So like I said, we're just going to chat a little bit here about what's new since the last time I uploaded. Maybe my favorite piece of newness is there is a new member of the Green family. His name is Frankie. He is not my dog. He is my sister's dog, but I did bully her into adopting him. She was being very responsible about it, and it's funny because she said that I'm usually the voice of reason, and I met this dog, and I was like, no, you have to adopt him. She's like, I can't afford him, and I was like, I'll pay for him, like, we're getting this dog, and he is the light of my life. I love this dog so much, and if I think about him for too long, I actually get teary-eyed, because he's from the shelter, okay? He's from the local Humane Society, and he was rescued, along with a whole bunch of other little Shih Tzu, Chihuahua mixed types. I don't even know what he's supposed to be, and they were all about 10 years old. Frankie's about 7. He was probably the youngest of the bunch. And I don't know the extent of his situation that he came from, but I'm fairly confident that it was some kind of backyard breeding situation that was like taken down because they got so many dogs, right? And I think Frankie is inbred because he looks so weird. But it's not his fault, right? So we love him anyway. And I just know that, okay, so my sister has another dog, Suki, and she's had Suki for a couple years. So when she signed the paperwork to adopt Suki, we were like, hold on, let's go get Suki so that they can meet first, just to make sure this is like a decent match. And so we suggested bringing them outside, right? And they said, okay, but Frankie, his name wasn't Frankie at the time, but it's Frankie now. Frankie might be a little weird outside because I don't think he's ever touched grass before, is what the girl said. He had been in a cage his whole life, and he's 7 years old. That is a long-ass time to be in a little cage just, like, pooping and whatever all over the place. And, like, I'm not kidding. I get, like, choked up when I think about it because that's, like, so fucked up. Oh, my God. I love him so much. And the Humane Society got him, like, rescued him in November. And he was only able to be adopted out as of, like, the end of February. So that's how terrible his health was. Like, he has spots on his like little peats where his hair doesn't grow from walking on the bottom of the crate. And like, oh my God, I just love him so much. I will spoil him for the remainder of his life. I got him a pup cup the one day, and he loved that. And he's like the only animal in this family that isn't stronger than me. So if I'm holding him, he tries to get away. I'm like, no. And he's so light that when he stands up on his hind legs, like at the floor, he's like short still, but he stands up on his hind legs, and I can actually pick him up from the floor because he's so light. Like him and Roger, my crested gecko, they're the only two that are weaker than me. So I love him. He's so cute. He's such a snuggler. He's so weird looking. He's like the light of my life. I love him so much. I love Lena as well, of course, my cat. She's actually asleep on my bed over there. But Lena, she's been with her family for so long that she's like a prissy princess, whereas Frankie, like, he understands that he's being spoiled, and he loves it, and it's just so great. And I always say that I understand how animal hoarders end up in their situation, because, like, of course you want to save every animal. And that's what I think of when I see Frankie. I'm like, yeah, I could have 600 Frankies. I could do that. But then my logical Abby takes over. Don't worry, that will never happen, because I would be like, I can't. If some kind of medical event occurred in multiple, how would I pay for it? I have 2 jobs now, so I could, but I will always be responsible first. So don't worry. That's not going to happen, but I get it. But Frankie's existence has taught me that I definitely want my own dog someday. I have this obsession with the little apple-headed chihuahuas on Instagram. Someday my algorithm just decided to start showing them to me, and so now I'm obsessed with them, and I don't like to think about the day that we don't have Lena anymore, because that will be the worst day of my life, but I think I will get an apple-headed chihuahua post Lena. Like, maybe that will be my reason to go on once she's not here anymore, will be to have an apple-headed chihuahua. You know what I mean? Like, Lena, for the duration of her life, I think should be my only walk-around-the-houseable pet. Especially because she likes to sleep, like, snuggled up with me. Like, I would hate the idea of something else, younger and newer, like, pushing her out. So we're not even going to attempt that. We're just going to wait. We're just going to wait. And then, after she's gone, like, we're going to wait for the right situation to just appear. I really do believe that it will just happen when it's meant to. Sam had wanted a second dog for a while because Suki... Have I told you guys about Suki before? Suki is also a rescue. She was on the back of a truck on its way to a slaughterhouse in Indonesia when the Humane Society International intercepted and got her out of there. So she was almost someone's lunch. So she's very traumatized. So she doesn't like to go places. She doesn't like to do things. She just likes to, like, sit in the house. And she's scared of everything. Poor girl. So Sam loves Suki, but she really did want a dog that, like, wanted to do things and wanted to be a dog, essentially. And she kind of had wanted one for a while. And then... But I was the one always telling her no. Like, she would meet dogs, and I would be like, that's not right. No, it's not right. And then we met Frankie, and I was just like, this is the dog. And she was like, I don't know. Where's the paperwork? Like, let's sign it. And then this other lady came in. There were two ladies that came in after we met Frankie, and Sam was kind of starting to fill out the paperwork. The first lady that came in, she was fine. But the second lady who came in, she had, like, the worst vibes. And, you know, the employee was like, oh, you know, we have some other dogs that came in, you know, around the same time as this one. And she was like, I do not want a 10-year-old dog. It's like, Frankie's 7. It's not like it's that big of a difference. And she was kind of being a bitch. And I was just kind of like, Frankie, you would have a bad life with this lady. You have to be with us. And I think one of the other ladies was like, oh, well, like, is there paperwork I could fill out, blah, blah. And I, being the bratty younger sister that I am, I was like, actually, my sister's already filling out the paperwork. Craziness. But yeah, there's a new green. His name is Frankie. He is perfect. He deserves everything in the world and more, especially for being in a cage for 7 years. See, I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about it again, because it's so fucked up. I don't know how the people who work at the shelter do it. Like, not only would I cry every day, I would throw hands every day. Like, there are so many, like, good, legitimate reasons for dropping your pet off at the Humane Society. There are. And in most cases, I would rather people bring their pets to the shelter than, like, abandon them on the street. But, like, I just know me, like, please understand, I'm a Pisces, and I've just had to accept this about myself in recent years, that, like, I like to think I'm not hyper-emotional, but I kind of am, and I just know that I would be angry, and I wouldn't be able to hide it, so I can never work there. I can volunteer and play with the cats and cry all the time as a cat socializer, which happens, please understand. When we read the little paperwork about the cat's history and the kind of situation it came from, if it's sad, I have cried and will cry. There was this one cat this one time that was 22 years old, and it had been dropped off because its owner had passed away. And I was just, like, so mad, because it's like there was no one to take this cat. Like, and it's very possible there wasn't. Like, please understand. I know that, but also, like, what do you mean there was no one to take this cat? There are so many great things about, like, this family, but that is, like, one of my favorite things is the knowledge that we all have pets. But, like, if anything happened to any one of us, like, none of our animals are going to the Humane Society. Like, we'll keep them. Lena is the probably most difficult of the animals. Like, I love her to death, and I'll just say that. And all of them have already promised me that would never happen. Like, she would never go to the Humane Society. First of all, this is my mom's house, and she already said she would keep her, so that's all that matters. And my stepdad is not really a super cat guy. He likes animals, and he is okay with cats. He just prefers dogs. He's not like one of those, I hate cats type people, you know what I mean? He's, like, normal about it. And then one day, randomly, my mom was like, Dave, if I die, you're not going to get rid of Charlie, are you? And my stepdad was like, no, why would I do that? Also, Charlie's a sweetheart of a cat. He's not like Lena. He doesn't have mental health issues. So there would be no logical reason to get rid of Charlie, but I just think about that poor 20-year-old cat who was eventually adopted, so, like, good. But, yeah. How did I get here? Oh, I was talking about Frankie, and then I mentioned that I'm a Pisces. That's another thing. My birthday was in March, and I turned 32. 32-year-old lady. And I think I just have to accept that I really, truly am a Pisces through and through. Like, I be crying. And I have been fighting this my whole life, like, my crying at the drop of a hat situation. Like, I have always wanted to not be that way. I think I just have to accept it. And if it makes other people uncomfortable, That's kind of not my problem. Like, maybe you shouldn't have made me cry. Just saying. It's got to the point where now at work, I'll be like one of the managers will call me into their office, and I'll be like, are you going to yell at me? Because I will cry. And they're like, no, I'm not going to yell at you. I actually haven't cried at my job. I've been there almost 2 years. Haven't cried there yet. It will happen. And when it happens, it will be because someone got mad at me for fucking something up, because I am not as good at computers as I always think I am. I'm better at it. I'm both better at it than I think I am, and not as good at it as I think I am. Does that make sense? Yeah. Hold on. My throat is getting dry. It's like my mug. My younger sister got it for me for my birthday. Cats and books. In my time away, I've been doing paint by numbers, but specifically these like $12 paint by numbers kits from Michaels, where you don't have to mix the paints. That's one of the things I always hated about paint by numbers, is when they want you to mix the colors. I don't want to do that. I want you to give me the colors I need, because if I have to mix the colors, who's to say I'm going to mix them right every time, right? So I'm going to show you my finished one, and then I'm going to show you the one that I started yesterday. Okay, so this is my finished one. Isn't it cute? It's a little book. And some plants up the side. See, I think it's gorgeous. And then the one I started yesterday is this one. It's like an open window with some plants. It's quite cute, right? So I didn't do number 4 and number 1 yesterday, because number 1 is the white paint, and number 4 is the pink that goes around the outside edge. But you can see a lot of the numbers through still. Yeah, see, so I'm going to have to go over today with a second coat of paint on some of the other colors before I even start with the 2 colors that I skipped yesterday. But so far, so good. I actually really like it. I've always known that I like painting, but I just don't always have the creativity to come up with my own image idea. So that's kind of a fun alternate. I've also been reading a lot. Hold on. Let me open Goodreads on my phone so I can see if I can remember what I even read. Last time I talked to you, I think I finished The Shining, or did I finish The Shining? I really enjoyed The Shining. I think it might be my favorite Stephen King book that I've read so far. I actually bought the physical copy once I was done, because I liked it so much, and I liked the cover that they have for it now. It doesn't look quite as corny as some of the sort of more traditionally published covers for it. So I bought it, and then actually in the late 90s, they did this like TV series version of The Shining. I think Stephen King was like an executive producer on it, and Mick Garris directed it. And I looked it up on Reddit first, and all the Reddit people called it horrific and said it was terrible. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. And it is much closer to the book than I think the Stanley Kubrick movie is. So if you want to understand what happens in the book, watch the late 90s version of The Shining. The actor who plays Jack Torrance in that one, I think his name is Steven Weber. He's on a couple of shows that are on TV these days. It's one of those... Is it Chicago Med he's on now? I think so. I prefer his portrayal of Jack Torrance to Jack Nicholson's by a mile, because he's like a normal guy in the beginning. A much more normal guy. Like, he very clearly loves his wife, loves his son. The kid is not my favorite kid. That kid is something else. But his portrayal of Jack Torrance, I think, is it makes it much more of a sympathetic character, the way that I felt like it was in the book. And I really enjoyed that. So then after I read The Shining, I read Bookshops and Bonedusts by Travis Baldree, which is the second in the Legends and Latte series. I liked it, but I liked it a lot less than I liked Legends and Lattes. I'm still tempted to read the third one, because it's it's the story of one of the characters that we meet, so it's not about Viv anymore. I did like it. It was cute. It was fine, but I wasn't obsessed with it the way I really liked the first one. I think it's because I identify, like, personally more. In the first one, it's Viv. She's done all her adventuring, and she's like, listen, I want out. Let me open my little coffee shop and just have a little fun time. In this one, Viv is in the throes of being an adventurer and being an orc who does Dungeons and Dragons type quests, and she gets injured, and so she has to, like, pause. So she spends, like, the first 60% of the book, like, being annoyed that she's in this seaside town hanging out because she wants to go do the things. And I'm just like, I just don't understand that. I want to be lazy. I have been the crazy girl. I have been the girl who works a lot, is what I'm trying to say. And I was just going to say, and I don't want to be that, but then I just got a second job. And not even out of necessity. I got the second job because I wanted it. Because it's fun to me. So I guess I don't really know what I'm trying to say at all. I just identified with Viv more in the first book than in the second book, is all I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now and go to Circe, which is by Madeline Miller. I had wanted to read this book for a while, and then it was the Kobo Daily Deal, so I read it, and I did like it, and I think I liked it better than Song of Achilles, which I know is an unpopular opinion, but I just felt the characters to be generally more interesting, more well-rounded. It's interesting because in Song of Achilles, I feel like the story itself is more of a complete journey from start to finish. And then Circe, I don't know if Circe is way longer than Song of Achilles, but because we follow the character Circe from her, like, birth, like, all the way through, pretty much, and it's, like, hundreds and hundreds of years, it felt way longer, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just really felt like I had been on a journey with her by the end of it. And I really enjoyed the process of reading this book. It is kind of marred for me by how much I hated the ending. Now, because this is like a Greek mythology type retelling book, I don't know enough about Greek mythology to know if that's how the story of Circe ends? Question mark? So maybe it's not Madeline Miller's fault. Maybe she was like, listen, this is how it ends. I have to do what I have to do. But I was kind of let down by the ending. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But, like, I was like, that's it? I got to the last couple pages and I was like, that's how this book ends? Really? Disappointed! And I just kind of was like, okay. Yeah. So I did enjoy reading it, but I didn't love the ending. And then after that, I read The Child Thief by Brom. I have almost read all of Brom's, non-art books. He has a lot of books that are just art books, but I really wanted to read The Child Thief. I got 2 Kobo gift cards for my birthday, and I think The Child Thief and Piranesi are the only 2 full-price books I bought with it. And then I've been saving the rest for Kobo Daily Deals. I really enjoyed The Child Thief. Much like Circe, it felt like by the end of it, I had been on a journey. Like, there were so many little things that had happened, and so much had gone on that I really felt like I got my money's worth in that story. It was really, like, fulsome and very interesting. I've read 2 other of Brom's books, of course. I read Slewfoot and Krampus, and I really like Brom's writing style. It is very literary, but in a very conversational way that I can very easily understand what he's saying. Something that I find very interesting, this book is older than the other 2 that I've read, and I can definitely see his improvements in his writing, if you will, over the years. Something that's interesting, though, is his version of, like, fantasy. This is the most fantasy version of his books that I've read. He really doesn't explain anything. He just plops you down in the middle of it and lets you figure it out. And I love that. I hate when things are over-explained in books. And I think that's why I, despite being just a girl, like just a millennial girl, have no interest in reading a Colleen Hoover or a Frieda McFadden or any of that, even when they're trying to do thrillers and that sort of thing, is I've always got this vibe from them that I really hate when I say that I don't like things that are mainstream, because it feels like a not like other girls type thing, and I am like other girls. Believe me, I'm just like them all. But I just am so certain that I would not enjoy Colleen Hoover or Frieda McFadden's writing, because it seems too simple. I, in my heart of hearts, am an editor, right? I have been a journalist, and my current job is writing content for websites. And so what I do all day, every day, is cut things out. I jibba-jab too much over here, get it out. It's always cutting things down to what do people need to know. And I have always felt like, just from like reading like excerpts or blurbs from those 2 authors, that I feel like they're just yapping, and I can't handle that. If it's not integral to the plot, or you're not trying to show something like symbolically or whatever, I'm bored. And then I started watching this YouTuber called Frankie's Shelf, and Frankie is Canadian, and reviews books. They did 1 Frieda McFadden video and 2 Colleen Hoover videos, and they're an English major, and I am aggressively not an English major, but I felt very vindicated when I was watching their videos on this, and they basically had the same complaint that I always thought I would, and that is that they're over-explaining things. Instead of saying, he put his cup in the dishwasher, she's like, he got up, he took his cup to the sink, he rinsed it, he wiped it out, he opened the dishwasher door, he put the cup in. Like, that's what the writing seems like to me. And I'm not doing it. I'm absolutely not doing it. I will stick to my little fun things over here, and the girlies who like that is great, and I'm so happy for them, and I'm not judging. I just know that I would hate it. So I'm staying over here And I read this book by Brom, and he does not over-explain anything. He just throws you in to the point that there is sometimes a moment where I'm confused, but we always figure it out in the end. Like, he gives you enough clues that you figure it out eventually. And with something that's as high... Did I even tell you what The Child Thief is about? Oh my god. I'm so out of practice, and I'm also just yapping. The Child Thief is a horror retelling, essentially, a horror version of Peter Pan. And that's why I was always interested in it, because Peter Pan is kind of a horror story to begin with. What is happening in Peter Pan if not he's stealing children from their bedrooms, right? Like, sure, they're going to Neverland and they're having this magical experience. What happens when someone checks on them the next day? The kid is gone. Like, hello? And so that was what I knew going into it. We don't know that I would call it horror. It's just kind of gory, like the way he's, like, killing people and stuff, and they describe their, like, guts coming out and that sort of thing, but there's nothing scary, right? I quite enjoyed it. I was surprised by the ending, not in a bad way. I just didn't think it was going to happen that way. I did really enjoy it, and it felt like a full journey, and I really like Brom's writing, and I think he's, like I said, I think he only has 1 or 2 other books that I haven't read yet, so I'm interested and intrigued to read them. I think one of them is called The Lost Gods, and it's another, like, mythology-style book, so maybe we'll read that at some point. But yeah, I liked it. But the book I'm reading now, this is what I wanted to talk about. I'm reading Weyward by Emilia Hart, and that is one of those ones that has been recommended to me a million times. I don't remember which video, but someone on YouTube recommended it to me on a past video, and I was like, yeah. And it was one of the first books I ever bought on my Kobo, and then I never read it. So I started it the other day, and I'm already 60% of the way through, dog. Like, I am enjoying it so much. I knew that it was in 3 different perspectives, like 3 different timelines, and I always worried that that would confuse me, but it is not confusing me. There's the 3 such distinct voices, to the extent that, like, I think one of them is in first person, and, like, the other 2 are in third person, and it's just so interesting. Basically, it follows this, like, family, this, like, timeline of witches, but it's very, like, realistic. Like, it's not, like, hocus pocus type witches. It's, like, healers and that sort of thing. And the oldest timeline in 1619 is a woman who was accused of being a witch and, like, put through the witch trials and everything, and then there's one in the 40s, and then there's one in 2019, okay? So that's what's going on there, and the one in 2019 is kind of trying to crack the code of the one from the 40s, and the one in the 40s is trying to crack, like, who her mom was and all of that, because her mom died when she was very young. And I'm interested to see how these 2 stories end up connecting with the one from the 1600s, because right now, these 2 are very connected, but the 1600s one is kind of separate. Obviously she's, like, their ancestor, but, like, how does she wind into these? I'm excited to see it. And I'm just really, really enjoying it. This might be a 5-star read. This might be one that I have to buy the physical copy of. So I really highly recommend Weyward so far. Like I said, I'm 60% of the way through, so more than halfway, but really enjoying it. And then next, I think I'm going to read Piranesi, because I paid full price for it, and it's not a very long book. I had heard so many things about it over the years. And I always thought it was like a huge freaking book, like a brick. It's like 200 and something pages. So, never mind. And it's interesting because I've always heard people who loved Piranesi. And then this girl that I follow on Goodreads the other day, she DNF'd it, and all she wrote was, this book was shit. So now I'm like, I don't know. Like, maybe I won't like it. But we're going to see. We're going to find out. And then the other book that I really want to read in this spring is called The Bog Wife. It came out last year, and I really wanted to read it. In this moment, I don't remember what it's about. But here's what I do know. It was $27-something on Kobo. And I was like, I am not paying $27 for an ebook. That is robbery. And so I left it on my wish list, and it went on the Kobo Daily Deal for literally 1 day. Usually things when they're on Kobo Daily Deal, it is for a couple of days. No, this was 1 day. And I try to check every day, but sometimes I forget. I happened to check that day, and it was, I can't remember if it was $1.99 or $2.99. And I was like, we're buying this right now. So I bought it right then, and yeah, I really want to read it. And then I have a couple books that I really want to read in the summer, but my list of books I want to read, like, closer to Halloween, it just keeps growing. Just keeps growing. I'm trying to focus on springy, summery books that are still scary and still witchy. Yeah, and then I'm even thinking of closer to Christmas, like in the winter, reading Dr. Sleep. Even though I told myself I wouldn't, it's only $2.99 on the Kobo, and that's the regular price. And I enjoyed The Shining so much. And it's going to be different from the movie, because poor Mike Flanagan had to try to make Dr. Sleep the book make sense with the original The Shining movie. and the book. Like, poor guy. So, I don't know. I'm interested. That's all I can say, is I'm interested. You know what else I know? It is getting... Well, it actually is a 40% chance of snowing today, but it's, like, just starting to get a little bit warmer, and I'm already sweating all day, every day. This is, like... I don't know how I'm going to live in the summer. Once that air conditioning goes in, maybe I'll be okay. But I don't know how I'm going to make it. I'm just going to be sweating all the time. What's going to happen to me when my body starts changing and we get hot flashes? Like, I'm really not going to make it. Do I have anything else to tell you? Oh, I also bought this book. I bought this book physically because it was so cute. Look, Goblin Mode. How to get cozy, embrace imperfection, and thrive in the muck. I haven't actually read it yet, because I'm too busy reading Weyward. But it's got, like, really cute art. Yeah, look. If that ain't me. The back says, embrace your inner goblin. Learn to decorate, dress, craft, forage, and live according to the goblin principles of community, diversity, nonconformity, and joyful mess. Do you ever feel strange, gross, chaotic, underappreciated, or like you don't quite fit in? Great news, you might be a goblin. That means your imperfections and idiosyncrasies are the most awesome things about you, and you can build a more harmonious life by accepting and honoring them, taking inspiration from the frogs, fungi, moss, rocks, and dirt that goblins love. I just feel like that's so me. And I, like, so don't fit in when I go to work, because they're, like, all so normal. And they know how to talk to people, and I'm just like, hi. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do I have anything else to update you on? I'm thinking about getting rid of a couple of plants, but only because they've gotten so huge that it's becoming a problem. The money tree, which is all of this right here, so big. I'm thinking of giving it away. I actually might even take the picture to give it away, like, right after this video, because I cut up my umbrella tree, and I just need somewhere to put it. So if I get rid of the money tree, I can put the umbrella tree there, grow it out, right? We're going to keep the Thai constellation, even though it's humongous, because I just cannot bear to get rid of it. I tried to get rid of my lipstick plant, because it kept pulling itself out of its little basket over here. But my mom was like, no! So it's in the rest of the house now, just like my Florida ghost. Basically, my plants are getting so big that I have to start getting rid of some of them because I just don't have enough room, and it's becoming like a hazard, is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to get rid of them, but it's a safety issue for me and myself and I. Because Lena's not going to get hurt. Oh, are you getting up? Hi, Lena. That's my girl. That's my baby girl. Okay, so what can you expect from this channel going forward? I don't know. Lots of vlogs, because I like making those the best, right? Like, why wouldn't I make videos that I want to make? Lots of vlogs. Some planty videos now that it's becoming summer. And I also want to go to, like, more things this year, so we're going to do that. Craft vlogs. Pet vlogs. Planty vlogs. I just like shooting vlogs, and I especially love this camera. It's so easy to use, whereas my DSLR is so big and heavy. Yeah, I don't know, but it's gonna be fun, and I really hope you decide to join me with it. And then, before you know it, I mean, Easter was this weekend, so I gotta start planning Halloween soon. I've started my yearly nightmares of waking up and it's October 31st and I have nothing done and nothing planned and I don't even have goodie bags, so I have to start thinking, you know what I mean? It's like the next big holiday, so, yeah, I don't even know. We'll probably do more Halloween crafts this year. Someone commented on my, the Witchcraft Wednesday video that we did, last year where I painted the witches on the canvas, and they were like, yes, I was looking for a video of this exact kit, and I was like, yay! So more of that. I actually still have one that I bought that I haven't done. Should we do it together at some point? This one. Like, look, it's still in the plastic. Can you... Yeah, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's a crystal ball and a candle. Should we do it? Should we do it and I use other paints? Because that could be fun. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Should I buy another one of these paint by numbers kits and we do that instead? I also bought this. This, like, scratch thing. I've only, like, half done the first one. I also have bookmark versions of that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was yappy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's to come. But we're going to have fun doing it, and I hope you will join me for it. Okay? I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.